I'm Patrice. This is Little Vern. Today we're going to talk a little bit about drawing the animals and living beings that are around us. I have my sketchbook, and I've got a couple different drawing tools in here, but I was mainly going to use some oil pastels because they're really nice to sketch with. So we're out in our goat pasture today because our goats are really friendly and lovely and very fun to draw. Again, this is Little Vern or Vernon. We're going to go say hi to the other goats and do a little drawing. Yeah. Everybody this way. So right here we have Ruby. She is a Saanen, that is her breed of goat. There's also a video that we did where I believe we introduced these animals. So if you wanted to go back and look for that, you can get some more in-depth details. But Ruby is a really sweet goat, and she loves to hang out around people. So let's take a pause and we can do a little sketching if we go a little farther down where the goats are. They just got on this new pasture, so they're really excited about all of the grass. And there's a plant called privet, which is it's like a small tree, and they're obsessed with it. So they always head down there, start munching on all that. Little Vern's on the other side of the fence. Gotta walk around, buddy. Alright, we're going to take a seat right here and draw some of these little goats down here. So when I talk about sketching, I'm not really talking about making a finished thing. I think that especially right now when we're not in school or we're out of work, and we have all this free time, it can be really tempting to feel like we have to do a lot of completed projects. But I'm really not stressing that, and in my artistic practice, I really try not to put pressure on myself to finish things. I like to use sketching as a way to connect myself to the other things around me, like landscapes, the animals, my friends, myself, and to get a little bit more information about how I feel about them and how they feel about me. I do it very casually. It's very fun, and I really like just using my tools to express the essence of these things instead of trying to get exactly what they look like and a finished product. So I'm going to open up my sketchbook and find a blank page. There we go. And you can use any paper you want, printer paper, whatever is on hand, a napkin, a real sketchbook, if that's what you have. And like I said before, I'm going to use some oil pastels. That's what I have in my little kit. So I don't really like to think about what's going to go on the paper, where it's going to go. I really just like to take a look at what's in front of me and start drawing somewhere. It doesn't matter if I lose sight of where the animal is or if it's moving. The goats are moving around today, so it's not a big deal if we only get a part of them. And I can also layer on top of them if I feel like I didn't finish what's on the page. So I'm going to start a little drawing of Ruby here. Here she comes. Her little ears, her eyes. I think it's so funny how goats have such like skinny little legs. They really are interesting animals. There she is. And she's got her udders and her teeth. On the same page, I'm actually even gonna just keep on adding some information about Ruby. And there she goes. Alright, Ruby has moved beyond me. This one's Queenie. She's one of our newer goats. She's a little smaller because she's still kind of young. Hi, girl. Yes, hello. And the goats will try to eat anything you put in front of them. Like my yum, yum, yum.
Hello.
Give me your ribs.
That's my sweatshirt.
Now, I have a very loose line that I use. I tend not to be too tight with my lines. Some people struggle with having lines that are inflexible or feeling comfortable expressing themselves on the page. And one thing that I would encourage you to try, if you're a little bit anxious about...
Ow. That's my cheek.
If you're a little bit anxious about things coming out of your tool, is you can try this thing called blind contour, which is really fun, and the drawings end up looking really silly, especially if you're drawing your friends and family, because you know what they look like. So basically that's what you do is, if you have trouble looking at the page, you can put the sketchbook underneath a table, but I'm just going to not look. So if I'm going to draw Ruby without looking, it kind of looks like that's kind of what I've been doing this whole time, but and she's moving around too. Hey. Things start to go awry really quickly. It is blind contour because she's blocking my sight. There's her leg, there's her udder, there's her tail, and 4 hooves. And there's Ruby. But there's something so silly and fun about trying to capture something as it's moving when you're working on a 2D place. And it ends up looking really silly, but somehow I feel like drawing this way really captures the energy of the animals, even if it does look really disjointed. And this is something that you never have to show anybody. It never has to be a finished product. But I think that doing a little sketch of things around you that are full of their own life essences really can give you an internal laugh and make you feel a little bit more at home with them. And their little tails are always poking up when they're happy to be eating grass. It's really cute. You can also let your imagination roam wild and free. So I captured a couple of the goats as they were standing kind of still. And they're not standing like that anymore, but I can kind of imagine what their shadows might look like. So underneath their belly or in their jawline, maybe they have some shadows. You can totally learn about drawing shadows on many YouTube tutorials, but I think there's something to be said for going outside and looking at how things kind of look in their natural states. And again, it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be pretty. The goal is to put on the paper what you see, what you feel in front of you, how you feel about it, not necessarily what it looks like. And I feel pretty good about this really quick sketch I did. And this is generally where I tend to leave things that I do like this, because I don't want to overdo them. I don't want to get too worried about the details, which is really easy to do, especially when drawing things that are in front of us. So what I like to do is sometimes I leave it like this and nothing ever happens with it. It stays in my sketchbook forever. But sometimes it's fun to cut out the pieces and make collages out of them, or to take them home and or just take them out of the sketchbook. Maybe you already are home. And color them in with just other oil pastels or things. There's a lot of different things you can do with your sketches, but again, they don't ever have to be used for anything else. They serve a really great purpose without being a finished product. So yeah. In this special quarantine time, it's really important to focus on ourselves and to allow ourselves to express without feeling like we're pressuring ourselves despite the stresses around us. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.